And on this day 1 year ago, 4 University of Idaho students were found stabbed to death in their off-campus home.
In the following weeks, a Monroe County native would be arrested and charged with 4 counts of first-degree murder. Today, we take a look back at the investigation and ask, where does the case against Bryan Kohberger stand today? A Saturday night out is not unusual for college students, and this November weekend didn't seem any different. 20-year-old Ethan Chapin and his girlfriend, 20-year-old Dana Kernodle, spent the night at a fraternity party, returning home around 2 in the morning. 21-year-old Kaylee Gonzalez and her lifelong best friend, 21-year-old Madison Mogan, were at a bar in their Idaho college town. The girls then stopped at a food truck and headed home. The 2 other roommates were also inside the house along King Road in Moscow. Then around 4 in the morning, one of the roommates heard a noise. She brushed it off, thinking it was Kaylee playing with her dog, until she heard another noise and looked out of her bedroom door. She told investigators she heard crying and saw a figure wearing black clothing and a mask walk past her and towards a sliding glass door. Police say the roommate stood there, frozen in shock, and locked her bedroom door. The next morning, police responded to the home. When they arrived, they found the bodies of Xana, Ethan, Kaylee, and Madison. All 4 were stabbed to death.
You can't imagine sending your girl to college and then they come back and in her.
Fear on campus grew over the next few weeks while police combed through hundreds of tips, but no arrests were made. Until the morning of December 30th, authorities arrested Bryan Kohberger at his parents' home in Chestnut Hill Township near Broadheadsville.
These murders have shaken our community, and no arrest will ever bring back these young students. However, we do believe justice will be found through the criminal process. This was a very complex and extensive case. We had developed a clear picture over time.
Kohberger, a Monroe County native, was a graduate student at the time of the murders, studying at Washington State University, only about 15 minutes away from the victim's home in Idaho. The 28-year-old drove a white Hyundai Elantra, the same car police say they found on multiple security cameras the night of the murders. According to the affidavit, the sedan passed by the victim's home 3 times, then on a 4th, stopping, only to take off a few minutes later at a high speed. This is the time frame in which police believe the murders took place. It was a few weeks later that police announced they were looking for a car spotted near the murder scene. A tip was called in from Washington State University saying a car that matched the description belongs to a student who lives on campus, Bryan Kohberger. He also matched the description one of the surviving roommates gave to police. Then, what might be the biggest break in the case? Investigators say a knife sheath was found underneath one of the victims, and the Idaho State Lab later found a single source of male DNA on the button snap. The DNA didn't match anyone in the National Criminal Database, so FBI agents compared it with DNA shared publicly on genealogical research websites, and the DNA pointed investigators to Kohberger. Officers in the Poconos then collected DNA from outside his family's home. The DNA from the trash matched Kohberger's father, and investigators say that sample matched the father of the person whose DNA was found on the knife sheath at the crime scene. A 3rd match was made with Kohberger himself after his December arrest.
The chances that this DNA came from someone other than the suspect are just astronomically slim.
A few days into the new year, the accused killer was in Monroe County Court for an extradition hearing. He agreed to be taken back to Idaho to face charges. Pennsylvania State Police flew him across the country the next day. Then the day the families of Xana, Ethan, Kaylee, and Madison had waited for. The day their accused killer was in an Idaho courtroom. After Kohberger waived his right to a speedy preliminary hearing, a judge set a date for late June, but that day would never come. In May, a grand jury indicted him on 4 counts of first-degree murder and 1 count of burglary. During his arraignment, Kohberger was asked how he pleads, but he didn't respond. His lawyer told the judge they would be standing silent. The judge entered a not guilty plea on his behalf. In late June, the state of Idaho announced it would pursue the death penalty. Bryan Kohberger's trial was set to begin last month, but just 6 weeks beforehand, he waived his right to a speedy trial, delaying the proceedings indefinitely. His defense team tried to get the charges against him thrown out, arguing that the grand jury indictment was flawed, a judge ultimately deciding in the state's favor. Earlier this month, a Latah County judge decided the state must turn over all investigative genetic genealogy in the case by December 1st, something the defense says they need for trial. But a trial date has yet to be set. A gag order has been in place since Kohberger's arrest, meaning investigators and lawyers cannot talk about the case publicly. As a result, many details remain unknown, including what, if any, connection Kohberger has to Ethan, Xana, Kaylee, and Maddie. The college house in Monroe, Idaho that was once home to the victims remains boarded up. It now belongs to the University of Idaho. The school intends to knock it down. Until then, it serves as a constant reminder of what happened inside.